Hi everyone, and welcome back to my kitchen. Do we have a treat tonight? This is low country boil, and you think, in the middle of the United States, in Arkansas? You can do it in Arkansas. The majority of my foods have come from Sam's. My shrimp and my crab legs are frozen, which I never question the quality. We have never had a problem. It's been delicious. But let me get started because it's a little bit of a time process, but we are going to make it through. Okay, I have my water boiling here. I'm getting ready to season my water. This amount of water I'm going to think calls for about a half a cup of Old Bay, and that's what I've gotten. They do have a spicier Old Bay. I couldn't find it. I think I would have gotten it. A lot of times I've gotten the Old Bay seasoning packets that you can just drop in. Let me back that off a little bit before we have a monster on our stove. Okay, what we do first, you drop in potatoes. I just buy the little bitty ones. And listen, I'm making this just for a small portion. Normally when I do it, you know, there's twice this much. So the potatoes are going to go for 10 minutes. We also are going to add our sausage. The same thing's true with the sausage. If you can find a spicy one, or if you want to use a spicy one, I've never used the andouille sausage. I would assume that would be perfectly fine in here. We've always just used a kielbasa. But I try to get something, I try to find the spicier. You know, it's just hard to find things right now. There's not as much available as there was 4 or 5 months ago. But this is going to be delicious. So, the meat and the potatoes are going to cook, or the sausage and the potatoes are going to cook for 10 minutes. So, once that goes, we will put in the crab legs and the corn. So we're going to let this cook for 10 minutes. All right, our next step is almost here. Listen, let me tell you how very important it is to keep a timer when you're doing this. When you've got 10 minutes here, the next one's going to be a 5-minute section, the next one's going to be a 3-minute section. To me, because I might lose track of time, important for me just to set a timer. I don't care if it's on your stove, if it's on your phone. There we go. That is our 10-minute mark. Okay, so let me take this off. In here, all we have is this pot full of water. I couldn't tell you how much it is. I put a half a cup, and then I put a little more of that Old Bay in it. It's just going to depend on what you want. Next, for our next 5-minute cook is the corn and the crab legs. And as soon as I get all this in, I'm going to set our timer. Crab legs are going in. I'll show you this bag too, because until we started doing this crab boil, I hadn't bought a crab ever. We have relatives that live in the Northeast, so we've been up there quite a bit. But as far as cooking it and buying it locally, I hadn't. And we buy this at Sam's. We buy it frozen. Okay, let me start my timer before I get off. Let me leave that lid off because I don't want it to boil over. 5 minutes. This is the snow crab legs, and you'll see they're fully cooked, but I keep them frozen until you're ready to use them. And it even tells you on the back how to do it. That's the only thing that I think you might be a little concerned with, is you've not done it before. Once you do it, you'll be amazed at how simple it is. These are a little pricey, but it's delicious. I promise you, it is. And everyone raves about it. We do these. It's usually a meal that people choose for a special occasion. My husband and my son, BJ, Bobby and BJ are just a day apart. Their birthdays are February 4th and 5th. So this is normally the meal that we have when we have a family gathering around their birthday. It's just what they ask for because it's delicious. And everyone enjoys it. But I have a pot twice this big that we have to use. So it's all hands on deck when we're doing birthday dinner. But that's what we have in here. And I have halved my recipe, so that's why we have a smaller pot going. All we have in here right now, you saw us with the Polska kielbasa, spicy if you can find it, if you want it, corn, potatoes, crab legs. So we've got 3.5 minutes left on that. But I wanted you to see these because they're easy to find. We have a local seafood place that I think they go down to the Gulf a couple of days a week. I've just never gone there and found anything just because I'm really pleased with the quality that I get out of these frozen products. And it helps me be able to store them. And I don't have to wonder if they went or if the things are readily available. So let me move this over. Next, we're just going to have our shrimp and then we'll be almost done. Let me pull it over here. And let me tell you that we had gone to New Orleans and I was going to show you our cocktail sauce because there are a couple of things that you'll need when you set the table or when you get everybody ready to eat. You're going to need cocktail sauce because we're going to have some shrimp. Aren't these beautiful shrimp? They're a red shrimp. I've not seen them before, so we're trying them. I know they look like they're cooked. They're not. They're raw, so you want to make sure you get the raw shrimp. But we had gone to New Orleans, and we were at Casamonte's restaurant on Magazine Street in New Orleans. We sat down and we were getting ready to eat, and my husband asked for the cocktail sauce. And she told us, she said, well, honey, everything's on the table that you're going to need. And it is, because all that you do, this is homemade cocktail sauce, and it's beautiful and it's delicious. You use ketchup, and this right here is probably a little spicier. You can adjust the spice depending on your horseradish. This is extra spicy, but this is a third a cup of ketchup. This is one serving. 1 tablespoon plus 1/2 tablespoon of Louisiana hot sauce. We just like that the best in this. And then we have this horseradish, and like I told you, this is the extra spicy. You just keep it in the refrigerator. It'll last for a really long time. It's kind of like sauerkraut. It almost never goes bad. Mix it up. Keep it in the fridge until you're ready to eat. And that is the best cocktail sauce you've probably ever had. Now, I'm guilty as everybody of buying the cocktail sauce in the jar, and that's good too. But if you have the time to make your own, or if it's a special occasion like this meal usually is, grab the stuff, tell them the story to make their own. And they can make it as spicy as they want. Also, with the crab, you're going to want some, let me push my crab down a little bit. You're going to want some butter to dip your crab legs in, or when you crack them open, the crab meat. So I have here some melted butter. This is actually, if you buy it already ready to go, it's called ghee, G-H-E-A, and it's a clarified butter. What we have found, because, I mean, we were new to all this, were these little warming stations for your butter. You just pour your butter in here, light your little candle, and your butter stays hot the whole time you're eating. So that's kind of neat. And then you'll also need some tools to kind of help you get those crab open. I think most of those have got a crack in them, but you need some tools. I remember the first time we had this and my sister came, I asked her if she'd mind to stop at the store and look for crab crackers. This is what I meant. She thought I meant the actual crackers in a box. We're in Arkansas, I get it. Anyway, there's all different kinds of these that you can find in a hardware store. Some of them might be at Walmart. This is what the first one was that we bought. That thing's got thrown by the wayside because, I mean, you're ready for the hefty get her done. And then some of these little, just to pick them and clean them out to get the meat. Okay, that's our 5-minute timer. So let me set our timer for our shrimp. Okay, 3 minutes. We're going to see if I can get this in here. Isn't that basket nifty? The only reason I do that is so I don't have to go chasing the shrimp down in the bottom of the barrel here. And I think we're going to serve the shrimp warm tonight. Sometimes we actually put it on ice. Start. That is cooking. Let me get those down in the water. This is just such a special meal. And you see that's kind of dropped our water down, but I'm promising you those shrimp are cooking. So we're going to give them a couple of minutes. Let me think if there's anything else I want to tell you while we're just taking our time on that shrimp. This is, I'm telling you, it's delicious. If your family likes seafood, it's wonderful. We've actually also had lobster here. It takes a little bit of time to get it here, but my cousin had ordered some from a place in Maine, and I think we got 8 lobsters for around $100, which that is a huge amount of money, but not when you're talking about 8 lobsters. We've done that once before too, but we always kind of go back to this just because everyone seems to like it. Very flavorful, very tasty, and we are just about out of time. So I tell you what, I want to put this on my serving dish so you can see how very impressive it looks. So give me just a couple of minutes and I will show you the finished product on the serving tray. Look at our finished product. Isn't that impressive? And I tell you, you saw how long it took us to cook it. We cooked for just a little over 20 minutes. It takes a while to gather it in. It is a little bit more pricey. But let me tell you this too, when you get ready to take it off the stove, make sure you don't have any kids or dogs or anything underfoot, because that is heavy pot with all that water and everything in it and all the food. So here we are. You know, this is for me and my husband. So we're going to have a delicious meal tonight, and it's very special, and it'll become a family favorite, and I hope you'll try it, and I hope you enjoy it, and will probably take us about 20 minutes to eat it. So have a great night.